on Fit Christian Mom group. I am live in here, and I'm also live over on my like page. So if you are not a part of my group, my free community over in Fit Christian Moms group, definitely come join us over there. If you need the link to that group, just say link in the comments, and I will make sure that you get the link. All right. So today I'm super excited. And if I haven't ever connected with you before, my name is Erica Bevel. I'm a personal trainer and a nutrition coach, and I am big on mindset and inviting God in to your fitness journey, to your health journey. There's so much of that is important, and you have to have it in order to keep going, to keep it sustainable. So anyway, just a tidbit about me, but today we're going to talk about overwhelm versus burnout and exhaustion. So burnout and exhaustion. If you're here with me, I see a couple of people on. So go ahead and say hello. I want to make sure my audio is working. I'm using a streaming service, so I want to make sure it's coming over okay. I see a couple of people, but I don't know if y'all can hear me. So let's see. I think I'm in the right screen over here. It looks like I am. So just say hello if you are watching. And don't be shy. The more you ask questions, the more I can help you. And that's what I'm here to do today. All right. So overwhelm and or burnout and exhaustion can lead to overwhelm, right? Okay, I see someone says hello. It shows me Facebook user, but that works. So with that, overwhelm comes from our burnout and exhaustion. So I want to hear from you. What is the difference? Is there a difference in the two, burnout and exhaustion, and what do they mean to you? What do they mean to you? And I'll go ahead and tell you, I took the definition of overwhelm, and just to let you know, I do feel like there is a difference in them. They're not the same. They're definitely not the same for me, and even by definition. So overwhelm, burnout is exhaustion of physical or emotional strength, usually as a result of prolonged stress and frustration. So that's the definition of burnout, all right? Which burnout is so hard to get out of. And overwhelm kind of is like a flag of like, hey, we're heading towards burnout. Whereas exhaustion, I didn't write this one down. Anyone have the definition of exhaustion? I know I looked it up earlier because I want to give you guys the Webster dictionary. Let me see real quick. Okay, so exhaustion is drain of one's physical or mental resources, very tired. All right. So if you look at those two could both lead into overwhelm, right? So overwhelm, by definition, is defeat completely. Give too much of a thing to someone or something, which is easy to do as a mom, easy to do as a grandmother, easy to do as a person, as a woman, right? So all those things are easy to do. And why do I bring this topic up for our health and fitness? You might wonder, because our health and fitness is definitely affected by this. Whenever we get overwhelmed, our routines get out of place, our habits fall out of place, our healthy habits. It's easy to let go of those things first. If this has ever happened to you, comment below. And what we want to do here, there's a podcast I was listening to earlier, and I got a ton of good like nuggets from that. If you want to hear that podcast, just comment podcast in the comments and I'll send it over to you. It was a really great podcast, and they really were talking about like whenever we get into that stage of overwhelm, we have two different ways we can go, right? We can either give it all to God and let him be the driver, or the direct opposite. And this is what we tend to do sometimes. Maybe it's not intentional at first, and you can catch it sometimes, but we try to do it all. We put it all on our shoulders instead of giving it to him. And even in our fitness journey, I want to encourage you to give it to him, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed. And some things, we'll go ahead and talk about some things that you can look for as warning signs. And then we're going to talk about some things that to kind of help keep yourself in check, and then what to do to prevent that. Because we have some signs and tools we can use and make sure we're looking at to make sure we're not making those mistakes and getting into the big bad place of burnout, because that's what's really hard to get out of, especially whenever it comes to our health journey and things start spiraling out of control everywhere, whenever we're not taking care of our whole body, our whole health, and honoring our body, right? So warning signs, isolation, like you're isolating yourself. We were not meant to be in isolation. God created us to be in community with people. I understand not all the time. We do need our alone time at times, but if you're isolating yourself, super big warning sign. Okay. Number 2, you're eating more sugary things. What did I write? My handwriting was so bad. More sugary things. You're eating more sugary things. And you're maybe binge eating, stress eating, or it could be the complete opposite. You are not eating at all. And then at the end of the day, and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten all day, so I'm just going to eat this. I'm just going to order a pizza and eat all the things. Eat the whole pizza because I haven't ate all day. Like, you give yourself that excuse, right? And that's definitely a warning sign. Not eating all day, or maybe you just skip a whole lot of meals and you only have a couple hundred calories that day, whatever. And then with your workouts, maybe you're totally skipping your workouts. You feel like you don't even have time. If you feel like you don't have time for your workouts, maybe this is you right now. Like you feel like you don't have time for your workouts. Or maybe you're using that outlet too much. On the opposite end of it, you're using that outlet too much, and you are overdoing it on the workouts. You're going extreme there. You're letting that kind of be like your drug of getting out of that stress, which it can be used in a balancing way, but if you're using it in excess, definitely not healthy. And it can lead to injuries and overtraining, which is not going to be good for your body long term. It's not going to honor your body, which is what we want to pay attention to. All right. People pleasing is a warning sign. You're saying yes to every single thing, which is so dangerous, right? That can be a whole nother talk. All right. You're tired all the time. You've got joint pain. Maybe you have hair loss. Maybe it's gotten to that point that it's that intense. Okay. So if you have any of those, or if you have had any of those, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know if you've experienced any of that in the past, if you're experiencing any of it now. And know that there's something you can do to redirect that, right? Of course, giving it all to God, but there's also some tools. So surrendering it all to Jesus. When you feel that, you have to release it to him, right? And even saying it out loud, is going to be helpful. So some tips to really check yourself and becoming aware and having the self-awareness, mentality check with yourself. Maybe it's with a partner, your spouse, your best friend. Oh, I don't know who that is. It says Facebook user. Thanks for describing me as a person. That's why I'm on this journey. Who is that? Let me see if I can look on my Facebook and see. I don't know why it doesn't show me. Whoops. Okay, I see. Melissa. I was definitely not describing you, my friend. But I promise you, you're not alone. Gosh, now I'm... Okay, there. Take that echo off. So anyway, so if you've experienced any of those things in the past, or maybe you're currently going through them, it is a journey, and it is it really, you have to take it down, take it back to those baby steps. But before you do that, some tips to check in with yourself, and do this regularly. at least once a month. Maybe it's once every 2 weeks. But get yourself an accountability partner. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe it's your best friend, someone that really knows you and that's going to be honest with you. Maybe it's your coach, if you have a coach, right? And there's 4 points you want to check. Number 1 is your mentality. Number 2, your emotional well-being. Number 3, your spirituality. And number 4, how are you doing physically? All right. And you can rate yourself 2 different ways. People learn differently. So you can either use the red, yellow, green light system or rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. That's a short scale. So there's a little bit of gray in there. So if you really want to directly get into it, the red, yellow, green, red means you are in trouble. Like you need to do something right now, take action right now. Yellow means you recognize it and you are moving that to your priorities. So if your emotional well-being is off, it's in the yellow, you need to start prioritizing that. Right, and green is where you need to be. These are not all going to be green or the same color at the same time. So we're going to go through different seasons, and so checking in on these is a huge, big, helpful tool that can help you bring awareness to your situation so you can correct it, so you can grow. And anyone on a journey, a health journey, when you're connecting all the things, your spiritual, your emotional, your physical, your mental, when you're connecting all of those, you're going to have some ups and downs. And even if you are green on the spiritual side, you're in a great, great place. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy for the rest of those other points, right? They're going to be in a place where, like, it's not always going to be easy just because your spiritual life is going really well, right? So, but leaning on God in that time, giving it to Him, surrendering it to Jesus, and then even when you are, like, say it out loud, give it to Him out loud, right? You could even tell your accountability partners, your friends, what's going on with you. I know there's times, like we all have times, we're all human, where I'm like, I've even told a friend, like, I feel like I'm getting close to overwhelm. And for me to say it out loud, recognize it, and then pray about it. But telling a close friend, my husband, it's important to me because I don't want to get stuck in that overwhelm because it's so close to burnout. And being healthy for my family and really connecting it back to your why. Bringing it back to being a good example for my whole family, and making sure that my body is getting whole health, not just, I teach macros, so you could definitely follow a fitness trainer that's got donuts and Skittles and all those things. Like, you can definitely make those things fit into your macros, but is what you're eating honoring your body? And at the end of the day, that's the big thing that I want to teach, because you need to honor your body with what you put in it. It's going to directly affect your brain. Sugar can be so bad for your brain. I'm not saying that I don't ever have any, but I do pay attention to what I'm putting in my body, making sure it fits my macros, and asking myself, hey, is this going to help or hurt my brain? Is it going to help or hurt my body? Is this food honoring my body? Same thing with my workouts. And you could even get into a place where you feel overwhelmed with your workouts. You feel overwhelmed with, oh my gosh, I have to follow this diet plan, or I have to follow, I can't have this. I got a big list of I can't haves, right? That can be overwhelming, because then it's like, well, I already had this off the list, and then, oh, I had this too, and I had this, so I don't know, I'm just overwhelmed now, and I'm just gonna go do my own thing, right? And that's a place where we want to avoid. We want to make sure that we are not getting to that point. And you could do that with your workouts too. There's if you scroll through Facebook, you could find probably 10 different challenges to join. And you might think you are in a phase of life a phase of the month where you feel like, oh, I'm all in, I'm ready to do this, feel good. I want to join all these challenges. And then you've added overwhelm to your plate. And then all of a sudden, one after the other starts trickling away, and you feel like a failure the next week or the next couple of weeks because you didn't stay on track with all that, because you jumped into too many things, and now you have to stop and refocus. And that's where that's where from all of those things, refocusing, finding out why you are on this journey. Your why is so important. If you don't know what your why is for your journey, that's where you can start. All right. So finding out your why. If you know your why, I want you to tell me, I know my why, or maybe share your why with us in the comments. And that's what you have to come back to, right? Write it on your mirror. Say it in the morning. Know why you are on this journey. And that's something too, like it might not change a whole lot, but it could change a little bit, right? And it's not really going to be about, I'm on this journey so I can fit into a smaller pant size. That's not, if that's what you think it is, spend some more time in it, because I can guarantee you probably are going to, once you take some time and think about it, you'll think about your family, your kids' kids once they get of age, right? And just being here and supporting them through their life and being a healthy influence in their life, right? So once you find your why, start tracking. Check in with yourself with those 4 points that I mentioned. Check in with yourself. Give yourself a red, yellow, green light. Where are you at? Know where you are and share it with others. To go a little bit deeper, I'm actually going to go over this in the VIP club in a little bit. The next call I'm doing, it'll be inside the VIP club. So that's my paid members group, but we're going to actually talk about tracking and seeing where you are with your cycle. All right. So this is something you could, if you've never tracked this before, as a woman, whether you are perimenopause, during menopause, or after menopause, you still have a 28-day cycle where our body is going through different phases, and you feel more productive or you feel more focused. And if we can tap into that, having the weeks where we know our strengths versus trying to work against them is going to help us stay away from that overwhelm, where we're able to have things that we're doing in our life, like it might seem like a lot, but during certain weeks, we're able to handle it. And really just using those tools to help us navigate through. And of course, leaning on Jesus is the big thing, right? So giving it to him, surrendering it to him, and being aware of where you are and what phase you are in. If you can tap into that, like I said, that's a big part of helping and staying away from the overwhelm and the exhaustion. I think overwhelm for me is like a warning sign, like warning, you're about to go into burnout. And I've been there before. I don't ever want to be back. So I definitely pay attention to those warning signs. And if you're having any, like definitely reach out to somebody and ask for help, because that's not a fun place to be. And it takes a really long time to get out of there. So getting burnout doesn't happen overnight. So getting out of it is the same situation. And I bring all this up because on your fitness journey, on your health journey, if all of this stuff around life that is happening is going on, then it's going to be even heavier with our fitness, with our nutrition. We're going to grab the bad foods. We're going to grab, we're going to either underworkout or overworkout, whatever. You can be on either side of it. Everyone's totally different, right? But it's so important to make sure you're taking care of yourself so you don't get in that situation, because our health is usually the first thing to go whenever we start feeling the overwhelm of life, the pressure of life. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys. And if you need more help with any of this that I talked about, this is just a little intro on on like the overwhelm and exhaustion. I'm going to be doing a workshop on this later on. So if this is something, and we're going to dive in more actually with the phase of the cycle that you're on, so you can definitely utilize that. So if that's something that is of interest to you, definitely reach out. But tell me your biggest takeaways for today. And I want you to tell me in the comments if you are going to take action by checking in with yourself, with an accountability partner, on those top 4: your mentality, your emotional well-being, your spirituality, and your physical well-being. So remember the red, yellow, green light. Tell me in the comments if you are going to be checking in on that. And if you have questions, or maybe you don't feel comfortable commenting, definitely shoot me a message. I'm here for you, and I hope you'll have a great day. I will be back. I'm going to do some more live trainings this month, so be looking out, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.